video.
There we are. Good morning.
Beautiful.
Now this is good. Thank you. I've gone darker just because it's so much easier with baby. You've gone lighter. You look fabulous.
I just washed my hair.
Oh. I only wash my hair now once a week.
Yeah.
And it's made my hair so much thicker. It's amazing.
Oh, I try. I know that thing. But yeah, you look fabulous. You look 20 years younger.
Really? I don't feel it.
I'm sure. No, you look gorgeous.
Thanks. This is going to be edited, so I'll just quickly run through. I haven't sent you a list of questions because I really want this to flow and be more of a conversation. Now, naturally, we're going to speak. Obviously, I'm going to do an intro about what sensibility is and why I'm interviewing you, and that's really because your experience around coaching and also the holistic approach to your mindset. And I want you to talk about, your recent adventures with something outside just distracted me then, which is really annoying. And I'm incredibly sleep deprived, so just bear with me, which is why we have to have this edited. With meditation and how mindset and money and energy and all that sort of stuff plays into wellness. So, and anything else that you feel you could bring to the table that could add to the conversation. Obviously, everything I discuss sort of comes back to the conversation of money, but I just see that that's a really, good correlation to what you do or what you've been doing in the past. And even if you want to bring up some of the projects that you've got with Door and things like that. So, yeah.
Love it. Beautiful. No, I really look forward to it. And yeah.
Okay.
For you.
And you're still doing cognitive mindset coaching?
I am, but my truth, my calling is to absolutely work with awakening those feminine archetypes and examples. The basis is what I'm launching. So the 2 days I'm not at Cador, but referencing roles of women throughout history and theology and religion. What are the stories of women being told through Judaism, Christianity, Greek mythology that we can bring into now as positive examples?
Okay, let's talk about that. All right, I'm just going to do a quick intro.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Alina. Welcome to the Sensibility Podcast. Sensibility is all about embracing women and empowering women through lifestyle, money, health, wellness, all of the holistic approach to goodness, basically. And you've had such an incredible career. And you've been a coach to me through your cognitive mind coach. I'd like you to share a little bit about that, but you're about to endeavour a new project. So can you tell me about this new project that you're working on? Because it sounds super exciting.
Well, it's work, and thank you. It's so wonderful to be here, and it's work that has always been in me and I've been doing in sorts, and I guess it's being repackaged and elevated as I'm learning new things and developing, and as the world is, intensifying and complexifying in terms of digital and kind of social and cultural change. And I love women and empowering women, and that's almost a cliche thing to say now because there are so many of those conversations going on. But I've always,
especially this week.
Yeah, exactly. Women's Day, and it's all good. But I've always pondered and admired women throughout history and at times, what makes a woman beautiful, powerful, graceful, alluring, nurturing, strong, fierce. And I've always been fascinated by deconstructing people such as Queen Rania from Jordan, Mother Teresa, goddess cards, women throughout Judaism and Christianity and Greek mythology. And there are so many powerful examples and the archetypes that keep coming back over and over. So I kind of want to give that feminine empowerment space a slightly academic and philosophical and creative construct, and take women on a journey that can help them tap into their own inner muse and activate some of those ancient wisdoms within themselves that can be brought into the modern world.
Wow, that's powerful stuff. And I love the concept of archetypes because it's it's putting a face to a feeling, it's putting, or, the concept or a story to empower where we're at and where we're going. Because, I mean, as you know, when you've worked with me doing the money coaching, I use my archetypes as well, just so we can identify what's really going on. So you're kind of doing a flip side of that, identifying an archetype to empower one, as opposed to going, right now you're being the victim, you're doing the absolute opposite, so someone can flourish and grow and develop into that. Am I understanding this correctly?
Absolutely. And from what I remember in your money coaching, there's really positive and empowering archetypes as well. And
absolutely,
it's kind of understanding. I mean, in many ways, we all feel incredibly unique and alone in this world. And I think what's great about this archetype work is that it kind of helps us unite in our pain and our challenges, and also in our possibilities. That if I'm being a certain way or feeling disempowered, I could just be channeling that victim or that martyr. So it's not me, it's a beingness that I can shift within myself. What would happen if the warrior or the magician was more appropriate? And these are the same themes that are coming up in so many theologies and philosophies throughout time. And I mean, it could be something nice to counter the Kardashian culture, and even the Kardashians themselves, that they're channeling archetypes of their own, and neither is good or bad. It's just about finding what works for you in the right context, so you can narrate the script of your own life. Those characters.
I love that. So tell me, if you don't mind, I know that you haven't launched this, so obviously this is up to you whether you want to actually share the details, but can you tell me some of the characters that you're going to be working with, some of these archetypes that you're going to bring to light?
Definitely the 4 that we stepped into for women is the warrior, the lover, the sorceress, and the sovereign. And you don't want to overwhelm, but just those 4 alone, as you really step into them and embody them, it brings a whole new light to challenges. It takes you out of kind of victimhood or small thinking or feeling really triggered by something, to gaining a sense of perhaps detachment, compassion, space, action. And also, I just love stories of history and heritage told. When we look back at a lineage, my thread of women 200 to 300 years ago, who were they? What did they eat? How was their life and lifestyle? What challenges were they faced with and overcome? I mean, all that is in our DNA. This time is unique for us, but challenges, adversity, survival, uncertainty, war, change, health, these are issues that have been with humanity throughout time. So I really do think that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and there is a lot that we can kind of harness from our DNA and that ancient wisdom that dies dormant in all of us. I mean, let's open up that space and see what activating those parts of a subconscious can bring to the now.
Wow. And what kind of, with this work, are you going to have this practiced with things like meditation, or are you going to be walking through people like through the coaching process, like you did with the cognitive mindset, a reset, it was actually, coaching?
Well, there's a couple of things that we do. I like every session to be a little adventure or an experience. So meditation is definitely a tool to open up those portals. We may be doing some NLP, which is essentially just relaxation and a visualization to tap into new resources within yourself. We may be using visual triggers. We may do some forest bathing, or maybe go on like a little road trip and adventure. Some creative arts and crafts, maybe just a general conversation. It's just whatever the journey and the person requires, but there are 10 steps, and every step gives you back a little metaphor, a piece, or kind of an archetype back to you. So by the end of the process, we kind of address everything that's to do with your sense of self and inner power and sovereignty, your expression in the world, how you relate to others, how you view conflict, interdynamics between men, women, colleagues, children, whatever's appropriate to you, and then like legacy impact, like the birth of that unique note that you play.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, I just feel like I'm repeating myself going, oh, wow, wow. I just love this concept. Obviously, given the work that I've transitioned to from financial planning to bringing in, you know, the money coaching and tapping into this sort of holistic approach to empowering others differently, to just going, here's the plan, here's the money. This is a spiritual journey you're taking someone on. And regardless of whether, you know, whatever domination they come from, it's still, I believe, quite a spiritual journey. So I'm just quite fascinated with what you're telling me, besides the fact that I believe that it would be quite a powerful transition if someone really dove into this. And I know with the work I've done with you and the work that you've done with me and the work that I do with my clients is when you actually give yourself wholly to this kind of work, and you actually are open to going and allowing your mind to just be released of who, you know, all of the norms that you're so attached to, and be open to these new potential characteristics, qualities, and what you just said, the new note, sort of, so to speak. It can be quite, you know, it could have quite an impact on someone's future. Have you done this work where you've actually started to see a transition in creating the work, you know, creating this program that you're about to launch? Have you seen some transitions already occur? And if so, can you tell me some about that experience?
Well, I would say the first transition was actually mine through working with you, because something new awakened in me. I am a new and different person around money, financial management, and my identity with money. Like, since I've just become so organized, since doing our work, I've actioned everything. You know, I've caught up on my tax returns. I've got a plan in terms of achieving my goals and, you know, paying off the HEX debt, like something that I was probably a bit of an ostrich and just didn't want to deal with it. Like I'm counting, I'm engaging, I'm looking, I'm tracking, I'm diarizing. Like, I've got a real relationship. And internally, like, I feel successful, I feel abundant. I no longer feel like this, like child and victim to kind of my financial mistakes of the past. I'm very excited for the future, and I'm like feeling very confident that I'll achieve my goals. Also, just working with clients, still in a coaching capacity, but, you know, I'll always be bringing this stuff in. Just how quickly shifts are occurring in terms of identity. I think detaching from drama is a massive outcome that is evident early on. You know, detaching with drama with exes and divorces, surrendering friendships. Another consequence of kind of powering up and stepping into this work is really taking very active and resolute action towards goals and dreams. And, you know, friends and clients, I call them my friends. They're my friends.
I do too.
Like, because
it's such personal work, you can't help it.
Exactly. I so root for their. It's my co-creation. It feels like. I mean, but, you know, launching businesses and podcasts and online programs and new careers and kind of dressing up, shopping, like there's a blossoming. There's an immediate blossoming that happens within 3 months of coaching, and I love that. That's why I call it a radical life transformation.
Yeah, no, that's well, first of all, thank you. That was a really incredible compliment to hear that after we've done that money work, the money coaching, that you've actually transitioned and continue to grow and grow and grow, and that's inspired the work that you're doing now. So yeah. I take that as just, that made my heart sing. Thank you so much. And good on you. I love hearing that because, you know, I mean, I don't want to bring it about me, but when you have that, I guess you leap forward in that new role of being that magician and the warrior, and you're sort of aware of your victim, your innocence, and all the other negative archetypes that have been holding you back. you completely blossom, it's quite a liberating thing. And you've just expressed exactly what that can do to your finances and how it makes you feel and empowers you going forward. So that's just amazing. And what I sort of understand you're going to be doing for your clients and your business is taking that to another level. So I'm focusing in on just the sort of money side, but you're doing it from a really holistic life approach. So whatever issue people are trudging around with, so whether it be that they're not getting ahead in their business or their relationships, whatever, you're going to really be opening that up for them. And that's just fantastic. And I think also using these amazing historical characters that just, can really resonate in our souls. Someone at the door.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay. You're at the Bondi pad.
Pardon?
You're at the Bondi pad. Do you want to grab that? I'll pause it.
No, it's okay. It's someone that forgot that I changed their time.
We can also, if you need to, we can wrap up half and then we can do more later.
Fine, that's fine. It's okay. No, she'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Okay. So where were we?
Just the archetype work and how it's holistic. And
yeah,
I mean, for me, it's a new definition of womanhood. Like, I really do believe that every woman especially has a note to play. And the reason why I say women is because, men, the language is very mission and what they're doing, but beauty is very much the language of woman. We spot beauty. We tend to be the ones that go, oh, look at the flower, look at the sunrise. Woman is like that personification of earth and beauty. And when that is kind of bereft in our lives because of busyness and just the pressures and stress of the world and cortisol and living in a very masculine world, like, our soul starts to dwindle a little bit and we start to make choices out of that kind of very uninspired and surrendered place. So, that's why I used to have a business called The Art of Being Sexy. For me, this is now like the basis, the art of being. Why not bring more magic and harmony and glamour and pleasure and whatever little luxuries you treasure into your own life, but in your own definition. I'm not here to tell you how to be as a woman or how to dress. It's just about holding space for you to dig deep and say, hey, how do I want to express myself? How do I sing that unique note? And what will that have me do? What kind of mother, citizen, partner, worker, muse will that have me be on this earth? Because I think everything else will rebalance out when more women are sort of like in that full blossoming, because our energy is so transmutational on the planet. This is like my bid for the world, and I think this is the ultimate act of feminism, that freedom and permission to be yourself and your pleasure without the construct of what other women are telling you should be like and men are telling you should be like.
100%. I believe that the past year or so, maybe it's my own awakening and maybe it's also being around, surrounding myself with women like yourself that are just empowered and really want to step into that space. But I really believe that there is more and more women that are in this place of awakening. And the true feminism, the true purpose and meaning of feminism is only now coming alive. And that isn't burning bras and, hating men. It's actually completely the opposite. It's embracing what we feel good about. That may be feeling great in sexy lingerie and high heels and hot lipstick. Or it may be that you just want to be, dancing around in the earth and just meditating and doing yoga and being real, relaxed about things and not actually caring to wear any makeup. It doesn't matter. The point is, feminism is actually just embracing what makes you as a woman feel whole, feel good, feel amazing. And it's also this sort of shedding and, of, negative, excuse my language for listeners, but I do tend to swear sometimes, but the negative noise, and be it negative relationships, so letting people put you down, being in businesses or jobs where you know that you're not being valued, and you're working out your value on this journey. That's what I'm seeing. I think that there is some serious, like some proper movement going on. Maybe, as I said, it could be just because I'm surrounding myself with women that are like-minded, or there is actually some serious movement. And I see that when you look at the Me Too movement, you hear, you know, you watch the Oscar speeches and, you know, things like that. Women are standing up and saying, you know, vote more and be proud of yourself and know your value. And it's different to women's lib. It's a different story. You know what I'm saying? You know.
That's why they call it waves. I mean, look, the bra burning was important for a moment in time as the suffragettes and so forth. And I think all these are fights against patriarchy as a system. And patriarchy enslaves men just as much as it does women. And it's just a system of power. But when women are starting to redefine and keep evolving what the notion of power is, it's actually a notion that serves men just as much. And, you know, I think the beautiful thing about us all waking up and, you know, we are women of privilege is that we are then strong enough to be overflowing and band and create a support network for women in lesser positions of privilege, you know, empowering women from migrant, low socioeconomic backgrounds in their businesses and their pursuits, helping our fellow sisters get out of dangerous home situations, you know, really investing into like girls and young girls' education. And I think that that's what's going to become really apparent, that we're actually overflowing and we're starting to see every woman on the planet as one of our sisters.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious to see like what happens when more and more women become empowered and in their light, because the consequence for you is that you're suddenly doing sensibility. Through sensibility, you are helping, you know, everyday women like me from all walks of life become more financially empowered and confident and literate. It's curious to watch what the flow and effect would be of that.
Yeah.
Someone can do with that little seed of power. Can you just hang on 1 minute, please?
Sure. I could hear it binging away there.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you. That's all good. My decline's going to come back.
Okay, no problem.
You'll have those whoopsie moments.
Yes, I'm having them all the time with a newborn. Don't worry.
Not way too many.
Yeah, I know, we've got to catch up.
I'm just going to come over this weekend.
Yeah, just turn up. We'll have to. Yeah, pretty much we're around this weekend. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
So back to, I want to bring back some of the examples of your archetypes. If you can break them down for me, I'd love to know, just to meet the characters a bit more in detail. Tell me about these archetypes that you're working on, that you're going to really bring to light and help empower and transition women.
Everyone's is kind of different, but an archetype is embodied, and I've got a whole archetype wardrobe. So my warrior, it's like, it's kick-ass, it's boss babe, it's always black blazer, leather, stiletto. There's almost like an air of the dominatrix to it. Red lipstick, and it's like, I'm gonna get shit done, I'm gonna kick some goals, like my warriors sit on to like, but it's quite invigorating. Other people's warrior can be very much about like a calm grace and center and focus, just like getting things done and moving through. But when we kind of step into the warrior meditation, and there's always a song playing, even watching the physiology and the posture shift and the things that the warrior says. But like I said, my warrior, it's like very sort of boots, blazer, red lip, hard, like gold chunky chain jewelry, and it's like very much like this work outfit. The magician and the sorceress, to me, is about just kind of getting out of the way and just kind of sitting back and watching bemusedly as things play out, because she trusts that there is a master plan at work. She trusts that things will happen. And my magician is like a Stevie Nicks type. It's like kind of flowing sleeves, you know, maybe like a little band or a choker, a black cat. I guess it's like a witchy energy, but again, these are just mine. I mean, other people's magician, maybe wearing like a white dress and is very angelic and has a crystal ball and twinkles, but yeah, mine's just like very sort of purple and black and very Stevie Nicks-esque.
Nice.
But when you're in the magician, like you just, instead of you worrying about something, oh my God, am I going to get that job interview? Is that guy going to call? Oh my God, like I think it's going to go okay. The magician is someone who can help you kind of just be like, sit back, trust, wait and watch. Everything's working out.
Yeah.
Then the lover, to me, is just this immediate like, softness and melting. It's like, it's very nurturing. It's about relaxation. It's surrendering. It's very much like a rose energy. It's like melting deeply into your feminine. It's very soft. And I think what's counterintuitive is a lot of people think, lover is going to be someone that's like giving and loving and stroking and cookie and nurturing. But for me, the love is very much just like it's a surrendering into your own love and dropping in and allowing yourself to receive.
Mm-hmm.
That's my lover. And the queen, so this quiet leader, perhaps it's like a Julie Bishop character. Like there's a real, this is, other people may, find Julie Bishop polarizing. It can be like just a real like sense of their grandmother may come through, but very much, for me, the queen is actually the giver. For me, the queen is a little bit more maternal. So there's like a dominion and a land, and the queen just sort of has the power to feed, to provide, to give, because that's what I think a queen does to people. But it's always just a really interesting exploration of what comes through and what's given. But the great thing is that it's like a muscle. The more that you kind of consult these archetypes and live out of those four and dance between them, it starts to kind of just eradicate or flush out the victim or the martyr, or they're like, oh, I can't believe they said that to me. Like, oh, no, how rude. And like that kind of lower feeling of entitlement, offense. Voices that very much run the narrative today, socially and culturally. If more women inhabited these conversations, even in the social, political stage, it would really counterbalance, I think, toxic conversations that women are also having amongst themselves.
100%. Oh, within our own heads too. Like,
correct. That's where it stems from.
It does. I mean, and where does that? Why do we have these conversations? Why do we put ourselves down or question the way we're looking and all that? Well, I put it down to how we've been raised in society and whatnot. And now it's been magnified with social media and the way we watch television, and it does it. So to have a practice that actually removes you from that and has you change. I like the concept of flexing the muscle, where you can actually start practicing to change that way of thinking. That changes how you are completely. Like, I'm obviously, love Dr. Joe Dispenza, and with the way meditation and understanding how your mind works, we can reframe our thinking, reframe our brain set, then we can reframe everything around ourselves, our bodies, our business, our lives. So, and that's one of the great tools is these archetypes. And that's an easy go-to place too, as an easy go-to, practice, because it's playful and it's fun. Exactly the way you just put it. I loved it. You have, you've embodied these characters into yourself, and I love that. And that's a really powerful way of using these archetypes. I have them, for me, they originally were like little sort of, like the good, the good angel and the bad angel on each shoulder, and sort of like the whole little different characters that get into my ear and whisper lies or whisper truths, and what am I listening to? Who am I listening to? So I sort of do it differently, but I love your warrior. I love that, that's just awesome. And I've seen you dressed that way. So I'm like, that is so kick-ass. It's amazing. And I do relate to the Stevie Nicks thing, but I'm My magician is more an angel, like flowy dresses, still quite Stevie Nicks, flowy hair, flowy dresses, no crystal ball though, more crystals around the neck, you know. So it's, you know, I totally get what you're saying. And for those who haven't done this work, it might sound a little crazy. But if you actually lose yourself into allowing yourself to become these characters and actually go feel a shift in yourself, it does make a big difference. You start thinking, what would the warrior do? What would this magician do? What would the, you know, the sovereign? That I love that quality, because that's something, an archetype I don't use in my work, but in your work I can see how important and powerful it is, especially when you're dealing with corporates, leaders, the leadership kind of realm, where they've really got to step outside themselves, and it is a serving role. So I'm finding this absolutely fascinating, and I'm really grateful that you're sharing this with me. And I can't wait to see more of this, you know, more articles written about it, because I love the way you write, and more, you know, you launching this. And if there's an event where you're speaking at it, I'll certainly be there, because it's fantastic work. And I know, and as you've already expressed, it's, if you embrace it properly, it is incredibly powerful. And the shifts are obvious. And they're obvious to me. I've experienced it myself, and you've experienced it. So where you're going to be taking your clients is a whole new level from what you're sharing.
Oh, thanks, Amy. This is really the first time I've spoken about this, and I do have a talk on 19th of March. It's going to be a little bit more corporate, but thank you. To your point about kind of being concerned whether this works a little bit woo-woo, I'd like to offer some science around that. Nothing rewires the brain better than storytelling. Storytelling, hero's journey, mythology, archetypes. That has been the way that humans have passed on knowledge for years. Textbooks and white papers, and, you know, they're all incredibly recent phenomena. So as children, you know, our brains are sponges, and that story time, it's incredibly programming. Reading fiction reprograms your brain and garners more emotional intelligence and life skills than reading even a biography or definitely a business book, because to relate to things on a multi-dimensional level, like plot, twist, narrative, character development. So the storytelling of our archetypes, the metaphors that we use around life, are incredibly important, because our subconscious mind is symbolic. And even the most kind of scientific person uses metaphors without realizing, such as, I nailed it today. So they've got a vision of themselves as, like, you know, that kind of, what was the word, like a goldsmith or worker just nailing things, or, you know, like, I cruise that, they're on the way, or whatever it is. So we're constantly working with metaphors. So I say bring that element of the fairy tale, because our brain is primed for it. It's only our rational brain that goes, I'm too grown up for this.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing about my program. It's the science of sensuality. There actually is everything that I have incorporated can be backed up by research and psychology. So there is so much woo in that space that I really want it to be grounded in science, philosophy, and the arts. Because what you said before, you know, like media and social media and TV shows are feeding us, that stuff is just like an easy microwave meal at the end of the day. And that's why in my program, and I encourage them with friends, how are Parisian women relating to their bodies and body image and their marriages? How are the women in African tribes doing it versus women in Taiwan versus Russian women? We need to, it's not just mythology and like the magician and the warrior, it's just learning from all stories of women. How has beauty been portrayed in the arts? Sure, you know, Kim Kardashian has that metaphor of, you know, buxom and, you know, the big butt, but so was Jane Russell and Marilyn Monroe. And before that, Twiggy was Kate Moss. And 30 years before that, the flapper era was very much about taping your breasts down. So if we expand our worldview, we will find kind of really grounding examples of womanhood that even in today's cultural climate would suit you. And that's why I'm kind of opening up women's world of what else being a woman is. Or another thing I'll say, you know, for rant over, menstruation. In a lot of tribal shamanic cultures, menstruation is considered so reverent and the blood is considered so sacred. In other cultures of past and now, it's considered scary, taboo, demonic, possessed. In our modern world, we're completely disconnected. Oh, I've got my period. Oh shit, you know, we're so disconnected from our cycle. And even as the month happens, what happens to us on a psychic level, on an energetic level, and we're not living to the flow of seasons, of moons, or of our periods. That's the kind of conversation we're introduced to modern women. What if we could align with some of those stories, lifestyles, cooking methods, you know, like pickling is becoming de rigueur, things like, what's it called, like salted fish or burying your meals. Those are all ancient traditions. Anyway.
Oh no, absolutely. Everything you've said makes so much sense and is, you know, I absolutely love everything you're sharing today. So, and I hope that others who are listening to this do take on even a little bit of what we're talking about and have an understanding of it and actually go and try and explore some of these concepts and even seek services such as yours and mine that actually can really help them break through some of the things that they've, you know, got holding them back, because it is very powerful. And I'm fascinated with our story as women through history from ancient to now. And I mean, one person who knows a lot is yourself. You have done a lot of studies. Sorry, my battery's running low. So I love that you're bringing all of, you know, everything that you've collected over the years of your, you know, study and work and everything. It's like you're pulling it all together. It's like become this one amazing recipe, and you're ready to serve it. So I love that you've sort of taken bits and pieces of your journey and now about to share that with everybody, and that's going to help so many people. So well done. Yeah. I'm just so excited.
Wrapping me up too. I'm excited. And, you know, all learn it on our own experiences and mistakes. And when I work with you, I so appreciated the authenticity of your own struggle. Like, I think why we're really passionate about this work is we've been through the journey of romantic hardship, financial hardship, our relationship with our bodies, with food, with our own self-image. And, you know, I'm realizing, like, whether it's, you know, diet or financial planning and management, you can't take the deeper person out of it, because the way that we spend, the way that we live, who we connect with, who follow on social media become crutches for our own inadequacies. And this is an alternative, because not everyone can go see a doctor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Sometimes just everyday people want a new toolkit of understanding themselves in a new way that can give them a new relationship to their problems so they can become solutions. And yeah, I think your authenticity really helped with that. And, you know, admitting times when you were a martyr, that was really relatable. And yeah.
Oh, we all can be. I default into that all the time, especially now with a newborn. Trust me.
I think it's
right now
martyr and self-sacrificing. It is with a newborn.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right now, the victim, the martyr, the fool, all of it comes to light when I'm sleep deprived. I'm trying to juggle work and a newborn and the many family members in this household, because anyone who knows me personally knows that I've got a lot of kids. Between my husband and I, this is number 6 we've just had. It's insane. So it's a busy, crazy house, and I do naturally default into that and feel like the victim, and I have to pull myself out of it all the time. And I do the quizzes regularly and look at things and go, okay, how can I pull myself out of this? And, you know, today what I've taken is to actually play with those archetypes a bit more, so that I embody that. Yeah. I loved your example of how you did that, because that's now something I'm going to practice. I'm going to take that today and go, I've done enough work with this stuff, and that might take me to the next level. And I want to play with that a bit more. I'm really grateful that you shared that, because, as I said, I've just been, aware of them in my head. But how about I just embody it all? Sorry, I've just had a bird come into my house as well. I will wrap this up, but I think we will have to do another podcast. Ooh. I think this will have to, the conversation will need to continue at another time. So we will be definitely in touch, and I think maybe we bring in, maybe as a suggestion, another person, maybe we do you bring in someone that you've been working with, so that we can share that transition process with listeners. I think that would be an exciting thing. Because as you know, I believe in this kind of work, and I do believe in your style of coaching, because you do bring in history, you bring science to it, you bring a lot of logic, but you also bring some fun, and then this whole new playful world to it. And you've introduced me to lots of different concepts of coaching. So, I really would love to share more of what you're doing.
Oh, I would be delighted to. And I'm so glad. I always say adornment and anointment are so important. That's why, when I see women who haven't been to the gym, but like in the bun and whatever, what transmission is that sending? Like, sure, it's comfortable, but think about, that movie Elizabeth, when Cate Blanchett is getting ready as the queen. She's just an everyday woman, and in the process of becoming the queen is the powder and the crown and the wig. It's okay when you want to adorn yourself with jewelry and certain hair, or your special scarf, or kind of your special dress or lingerie, and anoint yourself with the perfumes, because that immediately subconsciously transports and awakens those energies in you. And look, I always celebrate a little bit of being a bit extra, because I think it really does give you confidence and power. And it's okay, you know who you are on the inside, but like, you can't fool your psychology. You are going to feel better if you kind of anoint yourself as the person you want to be. And maybe you're wearing Fitspo, that makes you feel that you are fit and you're going to be a runner, that's great. But if you're just doing it because you're like, oh, who cares, I'm going to go to the shop, never feel about yourself that you're invisible and who cares. Like, always dress up for life, because you're going to be more of who you are, and then that can impact someone. So go the extra mile, wear the red lip, big hoops, you're worth it.
I'm going to be interviewing Jessica, the stylist, soon. So that's a nice segue to what she's got to have to say about, empowering yourself with the way you dress.
She's changed our lives. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much. I really look forward to sharing this with everybody, and I'm coming to see you the 19th of March. And so first of all, how do we get in touch with you? Have you got a contact or a website or any social media that we should be following?
Yes, so my social media for this new concept is The Basis of Being, and my website is The Basis of Being.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, Alina, thank you very much for today.
Love it.
All right, I'm going to actually just stop now.
Cool. Oh, thanks, love.
Okay.